What is going on, everybody? It's the El Toro Fuerte, and I am back with a deck profile. I know it's been a while, but here we are. I just pulled the most recent Eldlich, the Golden Lord, and I have wanted to start a Mayakashi deck. I had everything I need, and I said, you know what? Let's see what we can do to combine these bad boys. And so it took a few attempts and a few trials and errors, but I think we have it down to where it's a pretty solid, effective, and consistent deck. You combine Mayakashi with Eldlixir, the Golden Lord. Let's see what we got. Let's do this profile. Okay, so right off the bat, you know we are going to use two Eldlich, the Golden Lords. I don't have a third one, but two seems to work just fine. So we'll consider this more of a budget Eldlich deck, even though that's kind of hard to say with the price of these right now. But if you are going to build one, this is probably one of the less expensive ones that you will build. And also for you zombie purists out there, this is a pure zombie build. I know there are a lot of cool zombie world decks out there that involve a ton of synchros, and I actually have one myself. That I have a few non-zombie monster cards in there. So this is actually a pure zombie deck. Okay, so let's talk about this guy right here, Eldlich, the Golden Lord. Try and zoom in on that effect there. You can send this card and one spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard, then target one card on the field, send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, send one spell trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand, then you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand. And if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, I mean, yeah, the amount of self-recursion with this guy is just ridiculous. You get him out of the graveyard, you can special summon him right out. And so, yeah, I mean, the card itself is legit. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the actual deck. So, there you go. Next on the list, you know her, you love her. Dakki, the Graceful Mayakashi. Now this card is it's a staple in any Mayakashi deck, but in this one, it's huge, of course. Dakki, the Graceful Mayakashi, Zombie Tuner, level 2. The effect is so amazing. You can only control one Dakki, the Graceful Mayakashi, when a Mayakashi monster or monster is a special summon to your field from the extra deck while this card is in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. Amazing. So literally, once you get the whole synchro, you bring out a synchro monster using Dakki, special summon your synchro monster, she gets special summoned from the graveyard out onto the field, and you just keep going up with your Mayakashis, filling up your graveyard, getting ready to knock your opponent silly. So we use 2 of those on there. 3 of these bad boys right here. Now this is Hajun, the Winged Mayakashi. Phenomenal card, another great card. Synergizes extremely well with Dakki. It's like they were made for each other, right? Funny. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Mayakashi from your deck, except Hajun. You can only use this effect of this guy once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Mayakashi monsters. Funny thing is, all but one are Mayakashi in the extra deck, as you'll see very soon. So we do use 3 of those guys right there. Again, he combines really well with Dakki. If you don't have one in your hand, it's a good way to get her out. Right off the bat, you got your level 3 synchro right there. So, excellent card, excellent effect. Let's keep moving. We use 3 of these right here. Now this is Yuki-Musume, the Ice Mayakashi. Now her effect, very simple, very straightforward. Let's take a look here. If you control a Mayakashi card other than this one, while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card, then send one zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use the effect of Yuki once per turn. Cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Mayakashi. Another phenomenal card to keep the combos moving. Love this card. Love this deck so far. All right, so 3 of those. And last but certainly not least, our friend Ash Blossom. We do run 3 of those just because it's good to have a hand trap, but she's also a level 3 zombie tuner. Woohoo! Alright, so that's it for the monsters. Okay, now on to the spells. So for the spells, we use 3 of these bad boys right here. Eldlixir of Black Awakening. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this card, it is fairly new, just out of the Secret Slayers. And of course, it was designed for our buddy Eldlich. So check this out right here. Special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand or deck in defense position. But if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with this effect. So it's a great way to, you get Eldlich out onto the field. So for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except zombies. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Set 1 golden land spell or trap directly from your deck. You can only use that once per turn. So as you'll see with these other traps, it's amazing. So this is definitely, you need 3 of these to make this deck work properly in order to get things moving. Next, we use 3 of the Eldlixir of White Destiny. Again, another phenomenal card designed for this deck. Quick play, spell. Special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with this effect. For the rest of this turn, after the card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except zombie monsters. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set 1 golden land spell trap directly from your deck. You can only use one of these once per turn. Next on the list, we use 3 of these bad boys right here. Cursed Eldland. Now this is a continuous spell. You cannot declare attacks except with zombie monsters. No problem, they're all zombies. Haha. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can pay 800 life points, add 1 Eldlich monster, 1 golden land spell trap from your deck to your hand. Depends on the scenario, right? And the other effect, if this card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can send 1 Eldlich monster or 1 golden spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. As you can see here, you're starting to see a pattern here, how things just keep moving with this deck. On to the Mayakashi spells. We use 3 Mayakashi Return. Great card, especially for, guess what, Mayakashis, right? Okay, so check it out. Take 1 Mayakashi card from your deck, except Mayakashi Return, either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use one of these once per turn. So it's a great way to, your opening hand, you don't get what you need, you get one of these. It's just another way to fill your opening hand with something useful that you can start and build your board and just wipe your opponent out. So, last of the spells, 2 Mayakashi Winter. That is a continuous spell card. Very cool artwork. Love these cards. Alright, monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each Mayakashi monster with a different name in your graveyard. Well, that's crazy because once you get your Mayakashi Synchro moves going, you're going to have quite a few in the graveyard. So that'll be a nice little kind of a just an extra effect that, it helps. Every little bit helps. So you can only use 1 of the following these once per turn. Send this card and 1 Mayakashi monster you control to the graveyard. Draw 1 card. Banish this card and 1 zombie monster from your graveyard. Target 1 Mayakashi in your graveyard. Special summon it. Okay, next on the list, we have 3 Eldlixir of Scarlet Sanguine. Love these cards right here. Just the artwork is just so cool, man. Love the zombies. Alright, now this one says here, special summon 1 zombie monster from your deck or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with this effect. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except zombies. You can banish this card from your graveyard, set 1 golden land spell trap directly from your deck. You can only use one of these once per turn. Are you starting to see a pattern here? How amazing this deck, the way it just flows, using the graveyard, using Eldlich, the Golden Lord. 3 Conquistador of the Golden Land. Another very cool looking card here. Got the Conquistador look there. Special summon this card as a normal monster, Zombie Light, level 5. 500 attack, 1800 defense. This card is also still a trap. Then, if you control Eldlich, Golden Lord, you can destroy 1 face-up card on the field. During the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set 1 Eldlixir spell trap directly from your deck. Next on the list here, as far as traps go, we've got 2 Guardian of the Golden Land. If you're not familiar with Guardian of the Golden Land, there he is there, very intimidating fella. You can special summon this card as normal monster, Zombie Light, level 8. 800 attack, 25 defense, 2500 defense, and still a trap. If you control Eldlich, Golden Lord, you can make the attack of one face-up monster on the field become 0 during the end phase. You can banish this from your graveyard, set 1 Eldlixir spell trap directly from your deck. Golden Land Forever. Now this is a very cool looking card as far as the artwork goes. Alright, so take a look there, nice up close, very cool. I do use 2 of these in the deck. When a spell, trap, card, or monster effect is activated while you control an Eldritch monster, tribute 1 zombie monster, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Very awesome, especially if you have an Eldritch monster on the field. Good way to negate stuff. So that's okay. Next on the list, we've got 2 Huaquero of the Golden Land. Special summon. This card as a normal monster, zombie light, blah blah blah. Then if you control Eldritch Gold Lord, you can banish this card from the graveyard. During the end phase, you can banish this from your graveyard and set 1 Eldlixir. So you're starting to see a pattern here. These cards are great. Some of them, you know, not necessarily have to be too situational. They have dual uses that you can use. Last card of the deck, Dorado Adelantado. All right. So since it's 1, I'm going to bring it up close here, right here for you. This is actually my favorite artwork on these trap cards right here. Now this card says, if you control an Eldritch monster, activate 1 of these effects. Shuffle 3 of your banished Eldlixir spell traps with different names into your deck, and if you do, destroy all cards on the field. That is very cool. All right, next one. Shuffle 3 of your banished Golden Land spell traps with different names into your deck, and if you do half your opponent's life points, then you gain life points equal to theirs. Not bad. So this is kind of like a I don't know, maybe an emergency button. So anyways, that's the deck. It is a 40 card deck. Let's talk about that extra deck. Okay, next on the list we have 2 Oboro-Guruma, the Wheeled Mayakashi. Very good little synchro monster here. Now keep in mind, these Mayakashis, you can only control 1 at a time, so that you can't swarm the field with multiples of the same card if you weren't familiar with these. So this effect here, a little bit of a once per turn, 2 effects here. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 5 is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effects while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card right here. So, second effect, this card is special summoned from the graveyard. You can activate this effect this turn. Your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Next up, Tsuchigumo, the Poisonous Mayakashi. Another one that you can only control 1 of. 2 effects. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 7 is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish 1 zombie, special summon this card. Very cool. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 cards from their deck to the graveyard. Now, Tengu, the Wing Mayakashi. Same effect as the others. You can only control 1. Now this one requires a synchro original level of 9 destroyed by battle or card effect in order to banish 1 zombie and special summon it. Now when this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. Next up, we have Yugioh, the Graceful Mayakashi. You can only control 1 synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 11 is destroyed by battle or card effect. Banish 1 monster from the zombie monster from the graveyard. Special summon it. When this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy 1 of your opponent's 1 monster your opponent controls. So not bad at all. And last of these synchro monsters, we have Gashadokuro, the Skeletal Mayakashi. Now this was one here. This is the one that I picked on that little Instagram clip that I did there with this guy here, his face coming toward the camera. That was a lot of fun just because I was like, you know what? It's one of the creepier, cooler looking cards. Now this guy, again, can only control 1. Now his effects are a little bit different, but he has a pretty high attack, 3,300 attack, which is very nice. If a link monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon it. And when he's special summoned, this face-up card is unaffected by other cards' effects. Now that is cool. 3,300 beater, unaffected by card effects. And as for the link monsters, we do use 3 of those. First one is Yuki-Musume, the Ice Mayakashi. Now this requires 2 Mayakashi monsters to link summon her. She's got the 2 little arrows pointing left and right, which are nice. And let's take a look here. So you can only control 1. While this card points to a Synchro monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. If a Synchro monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is on the field, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Its attack defense become half its current attack defense until the end of the turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. Nice little addition there to the Mayakashi lineup. Alright, next is Yugioh, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. This is a Link 4 and it requires 2+ zombie monsters, so you can only control one of these. Negate any activated effects of your opponent's banished monsters. If a monster is special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard except during the damage step, you can target one other face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0, and if you do negate its effects, you can use this effect of Yugioh up to twice per turn. And of course, our last member of the extra deck is Vampire Sucker. If you're familiar with zombie decks, you know what she does. So you can special summon, target one monster your opponent in your opponent's graveyard, special summon to your opponent's field and defense position, but it becomes a zombie monster. If a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, draw one card. Very neat. I love it. Love this card. Love this deck. Let's see what it can do.